From the studios of Farm Journal Broadcast, this is AgDay.
Taking agriculture to new levels.
How do we grow food in space?
Protecting cash crops.
Farm it up a bacteria that turns the inside of the grub into a soup.
While keeping innovation going.
It's just ways to enhance either welfare, health, performance.
See the latest on what some of the nation's top land-grant universities are doing to help farmers and ranchers as we hit the road right now on AgDay.
AgDay is brought to you by Pioneer.
Ben's bins, please hold.
Yeah, Ben's has been busy all day.
Seems like no one can keep up with this new Z series. What did you all put in these feeds?
Science.
Good morning, I'm Clinton Griffiths. We're in the heart of college football season, but football isn't the only thing being talked about on college campuses. The Farm Journal team is in the middle of our College Roadshow. Now, every year we check out the latest research and technology geared towards agriculture at several land-grant universities. Let's kick things off with a university that was first designated as a land-grant college on March 29th, 1864. It's Iowa State University, and Farm Journal's Tyne Morgan gives us a tour of one of the university's newest additions, the Kent Feed Mill and Grain Science Complex.
This here is our thermal processing treatment.
Take a tour through this feed mill and grain science complex.
Feed has been mixed and batched, and it's going through heat treatment.
And you're getting a peek at some of the most state-of-the-art technology the feed industry has to offer.
The high heat and long retention time helps destroy salmonella and E. coli. And then it also improves your feed quality and your nutrition.
It's the ISU Kent Feed Mill Grain Science Complex located on the cusp of campus right here at Iowa State.
We need students aware and interested in career opportunities in the larger feed and grain industry. That is really what has driven this project and drives what we do here.
Valued at $35 million, it started as an idea in 2015, and 9 years later, it's grown into this, a fully automated system that's also powered by students. From feed mills to livestock and poultry facilities, it's a gigantic industry hungry for the next crop of future employees, and that's who they're also training here.
We don't really get into the ration formulation aspects. Those are provided by the animal nutritionist and so forth, but we have to understand how those rations are made up so we can properly program them into our system, and then we have to make sure we have all the correct ingredients in the right spots so that the feed gets made according to each one of the rations for any of the animals or stage that the animal is in.
As part of the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences, as well as the College of Engineering, the students can learn lessons in this classroom and then immediately put it to test with hands-on learning in the grain complex.
There's very few institutions that have such practical type of teaching, and I would say in this particular area of feed technology, feed science, and mill management and so forth, and animal nutrition, this program is pretty unique.
From students who have no background in agriculture to those who knew it was a niche they wanted to pursue here at Iowa State, the state-of-the-art feed mill and grain complex is opening the door to new possibilities.
Reporting for AgDay, I'm Tyne Morgan.
All right, thanks, Tyne, and we're just getting started on our College Roadshow tour. Coming up, we check out more from Iowa and a new facility focused on building the next generation of ag leaders. Plus, we check out a big cash crop in Indiana that researchers at Purdue are hoping to make even bigger as our College Roadshow continues. Continuing our College Roadshow in Iowa, innovation isn't just about technology and tools. It's also about creating the next generation of leaders. And as Farm Journal's Tyne Morgan shows us, that's exactly the focus at Iowa State.
Walk across Iowa State's campus on any weekday and it's bustling. But what you don't see is that this campus is home to something very unique, helping grow the next generation of agricultural leaders.
We hope that the students really see Iowa as a leader in building the connection, building innovation, building success.
The program is called the NextGen Innovation Impact Study Program, an intense semester-long course that's cultivating change.
We are working with College of Ag and Life Sciences students at Iowa State University to really hear what they think about innovation in agriculture here in the state and give them the opportunity to explore some of the technologies, the research, the products that are driving sustainability in 4 key market segments.
The 4 key focuses are animal science, plant science, bioproducts, and consumer markets.
We're really curious to hear from them what innovations they're finding and how that sustainability is impacting these industries for the future.
The NextGen program is part of a bigger effort in Iowa called America's Cultivation Corridor, which involves not only Iowa State University, but also the Iowa Department of Agriculture.
This is a collection of businesses, of entities like the state of Iowa, Iowa State University, all about trying to promote what we know and love so much about Iowa, is that we're a home to innovation.
Through the NextGen Innovation Impact Study, 8 students are selected during the fall semester. One of those students is Megan Clark, a junior majoring in ag communications and international agriculture.
I'm a part of the animal health sector, so I have an interest in animal science, studying it as a minor. So it's been really interesting just to have the chance to learn more about vaccines that are coming out, different innovations from like big animal health companies, whether you have your Mercks or Landcos, that sort of thing.
With a required 10 hours of work and research each week, it's more like a part-time job than a class. But the experience and exposure they're gleaning extends well beyond the classroom.
Being an agricultural communication student, I've done a lot about sharing the word and sharing the story of agriculture, but I really want to be on the forefront of learning more about the innovations as a whole and then using my experiences as an agricultural communication student to share my findings out with everyone else.
The students will ultimately present their research to a board of directors that is comprised of ag executives and leaders from across the state.
But we really do believe we've got something special here and that we can put all these pieces together. And obviously, in the end, everybody wins because that innovation that we know is part and parcel of food and agriculture supply chain, it's happening. It's happening every single day. And boy, about the time you figure out the lay of the land, something changes again. But don't we love that about agriculture?
Reporting for AgDay, I'm Tyne Morgan.
All right, thanks, Ty. Now, I recently got the chance to visit Purdue University as part of our tour, where researchers are investigating ways to work with the land's natural features to help build in seasonal resilience. And that includes finding a way to keep water available during those weeks of drier weather. This generator is powering an idea, linking wetlands, water, and crop production together.
So we can see over that 25-year period, here in Tippecanoe County alone, about 1 time per year on average, we experience at least abnormally dry periods, or worse, something that shows up on the drought monitor.
Those dry stretches often translate into lost yields for both corn and soybeans. That prompted an idea from a team of researchers here at Purdue University. Take the water from tile runoff during the wetter parts of the year and store it here in a nearby 3-acre wetland.
For years, subsurface drainage water from the farm has passed through this wetland. About 175 acres of the farm has subsurface drains that discharge into this space, but then they would pass right through and go down Indian Creek.
So with approval from the Indiana Department of Environmental Management and the Army Corps of Engineers, the team is reversing that flow for short windows of time.
We have a small sump pump essentially over there run by a generator, and it is pumping water through a 4-inch flexible pipe, something like 500 yards under County Road 500 through a culvert to get it to our field.
The water is then distributed via subsurface drip irrigation straight to the plant's roots.
It's not intensive, full pivot irrigation that you're going to see a bit west of here. This is a system designed for supplemental irrigation. It lets us give the crop a boost during those short but intense dry periods that we're experiencing with increasing frequency in Indiana.
While they've seen yield increases of 5 to 10%, they admit it's not yet a financially viable solution at scale. They hope that by adding other management practices like fertigation or fungicides, it will help the ROI go up.
We're really getting the best yield benefit when we pile on all of those practices. Intensive management and fertigation along with the irrigation water.
Lots of raccoons, fox, possum.
It's also helping to improve the wetland habitat.
This wetland is a natural wetland, but it's been impacted by the agricultural landscape without any management intervention for decades.
They're battling invasive grass species and planting new pollinator habitats. Ultimately, they hope with time and testing to figure out how these two different environments can finally work together.
By providing that little bit of extra water, we get a little bit more resilience and less variability in yield.
Researchers here at Purdue are also focusing on a crop that's pretty important to the state of Indiana. They're working to make the most out of mint next. Not every acre in the state of Indiana is covered in corn or soybeans. It's also one of the top producers of mint. And right now, researchers at Purdue University are helping farmers fight a pest threatening to rob them of yield. Before it's infused here, it starts here. These Indiana mint fields are growing next season's freshness.
Like many people, I had no idea Indiana was a big mint producing state. In fact, Indiana ranks 3rd and 4th in the nation in spearmint and peppermint oil production, respectively.
A rotational crop with corn and soybeans, mint is cut, windrowed like hay, boiled in a big pot where the mint oil is then distilled out.
And then they take that oil and put it into these 50-gallon drums, and that's what they're selling. That's the end product.
But these green leaves are hiding a serious invasive pest, the Asiatic garden beetle.
It's similar or in the same family as the Japanese beetle, which most of us are familiar with.
Capable of feeding on 70 different plants, this beetle spends most of its life as an immature or grub underground.
So they're down there 10 months out of the year feeding on the roots, and unless you go digging, you won't know that they're there in advance, and by the time there's injury to the crop, you know it's too late to do something.
Indiana farmers started asking for help back in 2020, kicking off a host of research, including how to sample or even monitor for the pest, how many in a given area can create yield drag, and finally, what to do about it given mint's direct consumer connections.
So we know we can kill them with insecticides, which is good news, but we're actually really focused on biological control.
And a lot of soil-borne pathogens.
What they're trying are these tiny insect parasitic nematodes that already occur naturally in the soil and only infect insects.
It's like that movie Alien. Basically vomit up a bacteria that turns the inside of the grub into a soup. Then they feed on that and they kill the grub in the process.
They hope with enough grub-seeking nematodes surviving in the soil, they can keep populations down and yields up.
They're biological organisms, they occur naturally. They can't hurt you or me, so I think that makes it an appealing approach and something that hopefully consumers of mint products care about.
From gum to toothpaste, ice cream and candy, farmers may soon find a helping no, not an alien, a nematode, battling an invasive pest and protecting Indiana's freshest crop. Coming up, building a better cow. We head to the University of Nebraska and a new feedlot center that could be the key to helping producers in the future. Next. Our College Roadshow also visiting the University of Nebraska, where work is wrapping up on a new feedlot innovation center. And as Farm Journal's Tyne Morgan tells us, the team behind it says the new center will soon be stocked with cattle.
It's a 240-head individual feeding facility. It's a facility we're using for individual animal management research. There's a lot of interest in what can we do with precision technology to improve beef cattle production, and we have a lot of research planned for this facility in coming years.
The Kopfenstein Feed Technology Center has 36 commercial-sized pens, which will house 60 head across 4 different housing systems. One of the key questions Erickson says they'll uncover here is how to improve nutrient loss from feed yard systems.
We need to do a better job of conserving nutrients. The focus of that in everybody's mind is normally carbon and greenhouse gases. Actually, much of our focus here will be that, but also nitrogen management. So housing systems is one of the greatest ways to change that.
Erickson says bottom line is traditional open lots, which is the most common feed yard housing system today, isn't great at conserving nitrogen. So by placing cattle in these deep pit barns, it's a great way to conserve nitrogen while also revealing other essential answers.
Well, if you put them in these barns, you get to control the elements some. So in the summertime, there's less heat stress, wintertime, less cold stress. But they're also crowded in pretty good. And so we're looking at how do the cattle perform and behave in those systems? How can we manage nutrients in those systems compared to traditional open lots?
There's a lot of global concern about how much cattle are actually contributing to global warming. And so we're trying to answer that question and get involved with actually quantifying those emissions, because there's not a lot of research out there that actually tells us what the cattle are emitting. It's a lot of predictions or estimates.
Rebecca McDermott's PhD work is in beef cattle nutrition and quantifying greenhouse gas emissions of cattle grazing pasture. Her classroom, well, it's this, a 27-acre brome grass pasture where you'll find cattle grazing with GPS collars. From tracking cattle in the pasture to now being able to track cattle's feed consumption with individual ID tags in this feeding system, this research could shape the cattle industry in the years ahead.
When that tag is scanned by this reader, we've decided, does the animal have access to this bunk, or does the animal have access to this bunk next to it? And we'll have different diets in these bunks that we can compare. So once that animal's ID is read, we've allowed it to either have access or not, and for how long.
The Feedlot Innovation Center is tracking and measuring efficiency at every stage, ending with this finishing facility here.
I think we'll have real-world application and things that producers can adopt tomorrow.
Reporting for AgDay, I'm Tyne Morgan.
Coming up, taking ag out of this world. More from Nebraska and a research project looking at how to keep people in space fed. Next. Also from the University of Nebraska, a team of researchers has a goal to launch the first Center for Agriculture in space. Now the premise, whether it's Mars or the moon, if people will be there, they'll have to eat. And as Farm Journal's Tyne Morgan shows us, the researchers are exploring ag in a way that is out of this world.
A far-out idea with one burning question at its core.
So one of the things we are looking at is how do we grow food in space?
This team's goal, to grow the first acre of corn on Mars's soil. It may seem like it's worlds away, but for the work in this lab, it could revolutionize the future of agriculture. Santosh Pitla has already cracked the ag engineering code on creating autonomous vehicles that can serve multiple purposes, just like he did with this, Flex Row.
When I say multi-purpose, our goal was to do planting and then spraying, nitrogen application, and then we are looking at targeted weeding as well.
But it's those creations that could level up what they're trying to accomplish in space, revealing answers on Earth that will then be transplanted in space.
On Earth, yes, we understand irrigation, but in the space when there is zero gravity, so how does irrigation work?
For having some agriculture in extreme environment or airspace, we need to provide an environment for plants so that they can grow in that condition. We have to provide that condition for them.
So the team decided a controlled environment with indoor agriculture makes the most sense, with sensors that can monitor the plant's needs and manage those resources.
When there is no light for example, on the surface of Moon or Mars, it is dark, we can provide the light with LED. And with photo resistor, we can monitor the light.
Exploring what's possible with leafy plants, agriculture in space may be closer than you think.
I believe someday we can have some perfect platform for putting in the surface on Moon and Mars to provide food for crew members without making them busy, so they can focus on their own task, and we will provide food for them.
One small step for researchers here that could truly be a giant leap for mankind. It's these tools that could create a new galaxy of possibilities.
All right, thanks, Tyne, and that wraps up our tour for now, but we have much more College Roadshow ahead, including this weekend when U.S. Farm Report visits the oldest land-grant university of them all, Kansas State. So make sure to watch. And that's all the time we have this morning. We're sure glad you tuned in. From all of us here at AgDay, I'm Clinton Griffiths. Have a great day out in farm country.